call to order the meeting for July 23rd at 6 p.m. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance if you can? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. A brief explanation of tonight's procedures. We will be hearing the cases in the first session. The application will be presented by staff. The applicant will then come up and give their presentation. And then anyone in the audience that's for or against this applicant can speak on their behalf. And then at that point, we'll close the public portion. We will then potentially call up anyone that spoke this evening, ask questions that relate to maybe something you brought up or the applicant has brought up. And then at that point, we will be voting on what the appeal, whether we will approve or deny it. After that, we show unfinished business of none, approval of minutes, our next meeting, and administrative matters. Let's see, we got roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt.
Here.
Ms. Owens.
Present.
Mr. Shupp.
Present.
Mr. Sydow.
Here.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. All right, so if you plan on speaking this evening, and it looks like we have a good audience here this evening, if you're capable of standing and raising your right hand, please do so. Sir, if it's inconvenient for you to stand, you can just raise your right hand there if you plan on speaking. If you stand and raise your right hand, you swear or affirm you tell the truth and nothing but the truth before the Board of Zoning Appeals. Say, I do. I do. Thank you. You may be seated. That brings us to our first case this evening, would be BZA 28-8, and I'll let the staff read what the applicant's about.
Okay, our first case this evening is BZA 25-8. This is 6066 Blue Rock. It's a variance. The parcel number and zoning district are listed upon the screen. The applicant is Mr. Timothy Huchthausen. A variance is requested to allow the continued placement of shipping containers on the property for storage use. The applicant recently relocated to Colerain Township and brought containers used during the move. The applicant states that containers have been on the site for over 20 years under previous owner, contributing to the assumption that they were permitted. The applicant submitted a variance upon learning such use is prohibited by zoning and expressed willingness to reduce the visual impact by painting containers to blend with surroundings or putting a fence up. The property is located in a semi-rural setting with large lots and wooded areas along a moderately busy Blue Rock Road. If you turn your attention to the screen, we'll look at some aerial imagery. This is Mr. Huchthausen's property. So you can see the shipping containers on the left side of that picture. There's also an accessory building and Mr. Huchthausen's primary structure. It's a very wooded lot behind his house, so unlike most properties in the township, there really isn't too much of a backyard on this one. It's also a pie-shaped lot, although it is a very large pie-shaped lot. This is a current picture of the state of the containers today. Mr. Huchthausen has put some sort of wood structure around the containers to minimize their visibility. His argument is that if he painted those to green and black and brown to match the trees surrounding, that people driving by would not see them. He also makes the argument that the containers have been there for many years, and when he bought the house, he noticed the containers on the property. There were, in fact, containers on the property before he bought it. The previous owner took those containers and left. Mr. Huchthausen brought new containers in. When the previous owner took the containers and left, she took the nonconformity with it. So if it were the previous containers, they would be what's called a legal nonconformity. They would be allowed to remain because they were legal when they were put on the site. However, Mr. Huchthausen brought in new containers, and the previous legal nonconformity was extinguished. But for the sake of argument, if we turn back to the screen, we can see that there were containers there in 2019, 6 years ago. There were containers there in 2014. There were containers on the property in 2008 and in 2001. And the furthest aerial imagery back we have, 1996, there were containers on the property. The zoning issue at hand is found in section 3.2.4H, prohibited accessory buildings and uses. This is listed in the packet and on the screen, but basically you can't use shipping containers as an accessory building. The staff findings are also in the packet and on the screen, and I've highlighted the three most relevant in this case. Number two, it's staff's opinion the request is substantial in nature. It is in fact substantial because it is such a busy road. Number five, it's staff's opinion the property owner who purchased the property did not have knowledge of this zoning. That's very important. Mr. Huckhausen believed he could have the shipping containers when he purchased the property. Number seven, it's staff's opinion the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would not be observed and substantial justice would not be done by granting the requested variance. So staff recommendation is a very mild denial. I do understand if the board wishes to approve, so this is not the strongest denial I've ever given, but a denial nonetheless. Mr. Roberto.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? You come and give your name and address for the record, please. Give your case.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. My name is Timothy Huckhausen. I live at 6066 Blue Rock Road
Thank you, sir.
in Cincinnati. I believe you've read my submitted statement.
We have received your statement, yes, sir.
Thank you. What to add? I'm a father, grandfather, farmer, veteran, artist, retired teacher, woodworker, and have a degree in fine arts. I mention the degree not to boast, but to acknowledge an aesthetic for my surroundings. If you grant me the ability to keep my storage units, I promise for my aesthetic and for my neighbors and the general public to make them visually disappear. I seriously need the storage space for my wood projects, and I'm not able to afford to build or rent another space. I have put everything I own into this, my last home, and my hope is that you will grant me this variance. Thank you for your consideration, and if you have any questions for me.
We may have questions for you later, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see two other people have signed up for this case. Does anyone else want to speak in behalf or against this appeal? If you come stand before us and give your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name's Steve Kirby. I live at 6074 Blue Rock Road. I've owned the property since 2004. My parents were the owners of the property before that, and I am the direct neighbor of his, and I have no issues with what he's done, and he's just moving into town. He needs to get his stuff in line, and it looks good where it's at.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Is anyone else wanting to speak for or against? Ma'am, please come forward, please. Name and address for the record.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Kim Kirby, and I'm at 6074 Blue Rock Road, and I'm his direct neighbor as well. And as far as I mean, it looks so much better, and this gentleman has moved in, and he does do, like you said, a lot of different projects, and he does need the space, and they were there for years, even though they're not the exact ones. There were other ones there that was a mess, you know, not in any kind of order, and he just came in and cleaned this property up, and just asking for able to, you know, keep some space to be able to work on projects, like he said, in his last home.
Okay.
And we don't mind at all. It doesn't look bad at all. It looks 90%, 95% better than it did. I mean, he's definitely came in and cleaned up a lot. And we appreciate the new neighbor.
Okay, great. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I see no one else on my list. Anyone else speaking for or against? Can I have a motion to close the public portion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second? Second's been made. Roll call vote, or any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shupp,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Mr. Saito, do you have any questions for the applicant or anyone that spoke?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Hutchhauser.
Sir, if you come to the podium, we have a question for you.
I just have a couple of questions, sir.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned in your statement here that you had talked to a zoning administration official, and he told you that everything was all right. Did you have that, do you have that name, or who you spoke to, or?
Well, I don't believe that was the statement.
I thought
He didn't state that everything was all right. He just stated that, no, it was David there.
I read it as he was under the impression, since it was there previously, that he would be allowed to have it.
I'm sorry?
What I see in the letter, that the zoning administrator confirmed that they had been there previously, but he didn't grant them any reason for them to stay, so you may have misread the letter.
Okay.
Well, the lower paragraph, second from the end, is where it mentions, he's willing to take reasonable steps to mitigate the visual impact as suggested by the zoning administrator.
Okay.
Okay, and when you purchased the property, did the real estate agent tell you about them, or
They did not. No.
anything like that? That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shep, do you have any questions for the applicant or anyone that spoke?
No, I have a question for staff when it's time.
Okay,
Sure. Oh,
we can do it now.
Okay. Should the board decide to approve this with conditions, is this, as I understand, going to be permanent with the property?
yes, a variance is always permanent with the property. There is a condition, if you approve it, that I had concluded in the packet, that if approved, there should be a fence. I do want the board to consider that we would not typically allow somebody with a privacy fence to put shipping containers in their backyard. So it would need to be through the hardship of the pie-shaped lot or the fact that he doesn't have a backyard, if allowed at all.
But I guarantee that I will make them disappear visually. But I do need them.
Any other questions for the applicant or staff?
No, I'm,
Okay, Ms. Owens?
Can you repeat, staff, what you were saying again about the fence and the pie-shaped hardship?
Yeah, so there is a hardship upon the lot, in my opinion, of it being a pie-shaped lot. So initially, even if you were on a small property, on a pie-shaped lot, you have a hard time determining what's the side and rear yard and having 4 usable yards. He's on a very large wooded pie-shaped lot, and he really doesn't have a backyard at all. So I think that is a vehicle of a hardship by which a variance could be granted. I still recommend denial, but I do see a justification there.
And how many shipping containers is it exactly?
I have 3 that are there now. I would like to keep 2.
And not add more than that, or you're satisfied with just the
And
2,
that would-
or would you
yes,
be wanting to
Totally
add more?
satisfied with that, yes.
Okay.
That's what I brought all my worldly goods in when I came here.
I have no more questions.
Mr. Bartle?
No, I mean, I was curious what's in the containers, but you just kind of answered that. And you're saying if this was not a pie-shaped lot, he could have containers?
Oh, no, nobody can.
Yeah.
I was saying that if it wasn't a pie-shaped lot, I wouldn't see where any type of hardship was at all.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for clarifying that, because I was going to point that out.
Yeah, they're not allowed, period.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. No, I don't have any other questions.
What I saw before was actually a truck shipping trailers, not a container. Are we talking about a different thing now? A container being a cargo ship container? Or is it a trailer like hold behind a truck?
It's like a cargo trailer, cargo shipping trailer, or shipping
Something would be
container.
shipped- Something that was shipped in a container on a ship?
Yes, yes.
So what I saw in the picture before were trailers. not
There were
con-
also some,
Yes.
some containers without wheels previously.
But what we're talking about now specifically, and the reason why I'm asking, okay, so the difference between a container and a truck trailer is significant. One's gonna last far longer than the other, and so my concern is if you had a truck trailer there, it's gonna deteriorate quickly versus a container which is pretty heavy gauge steel. It's, it's meant to be in the weather as such. So that's why I'm asking for a
Well, I
clarification.
plan to weatherize them if you grant me the variance, and like I say, they'll disappear.
Okay.
I,
I have no further questions for the applicant or anyone that spoke. And sir, you may sit down. I appreciate your time.
thank you.
Does anyone want to make a motion to approve or deny this case?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance under the condition that a privacy fence be constructed to block the view from the public road, and that there be a maximum of 2 containers.
Okay, a motion's been made to approve with a privacy fence and, what was the last part?
Maximum of 2 containers.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Any discussion? I hear none. Roll call vote?
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
No. It's been approved, sir. Next case. Yes, sir. Next case would be BZA 25-10. Does the staff have a presentation?
I do. Mr. Huckhausen, if you'd like to leave, you can. We'll be in touch. Yep. So our next case is BZA-25-10. The applicant requested that this case be continued to the next regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Zoning Appeals. This request had been submitted in advance of the public hearing and is intended to allow for more time for preparation or coordination. No decision will be rendered at this time, and the case will remain on the docket for future consideration. This is the applicant's second continuance request, and I've informed the applicant that no more will be granted without proper documentation.
Thank you. So the continuance would be for next month's meeting?
Yes.
Just want to make sure we're clear on that. All right, we've got from the staff, recommendation to continue this. Do we have a motion to do so?
I'll make a motion.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Next case would be BZA 25-15. Does the staff have a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
Our next case is BZA-25-15. This is at 9391 Jericho Drive. This is for a conditional use to allow for a group home for children. The parcel number and zoning district are listed on the screen, but specifically the zoning district is SUR, single unit residential. In this zoning district, group home for children is a conditional use. The applicant is Miko Wilson, and the property owner is Donald and Miko Wilson.
Okay.
Conditional use request has been requested to allow for a group home for teens in a single-family residential district. The proposed location is at the corner of Jericho Drive and Garrison Drive in a residential neighborhood. The surrounding area is primarily residential with limited commercial uses along nearby Adams Road. And the property has historically been a single-family home with no prior BZA cases or permits. Okay, if you turn our attention to the screen, we'll see aerial imagery. The house is this one on the corner. So what you can see here is that this is a very heavily residential zone. This is another aerial image overview. And so this is the front of the house. This is where the proposed group home would be. And we have another image. These were taken by Miss Petty this week. The applicant in this case has submitted many documents. We requested things like a staff recruitment plan, an org chart, key compliance considerations, some sort of strategy for retention, budget, and all of our requests were granted. We have packets available for the board, and they are also on the screen as well. So the zoning issue in this case, as explained, the use is conditionally allowed and requires approval for the zoning board to operate. The staff findings are listed upon the screen. It's staff's opinion this is in fact a conditional use in the district where the lot is located. It's staff's opinion the use is in accordance with the objective of the township's comprehensive plan and zoning resolution. It's staff's opinion the conditional use will not substantially or permanently injure the appropriate use of neighboring properties and will serve public convenience and welfare. But it's also staff's opinion that the use could create excessive requirements at public cost for public facilities and services that could be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. And for that reason, staff seeks guidance from the board. Mr. Burrow.
Thank you. I apologize, my phone ringing. Another spam call. Is the applicant present? You want to come and give your presentation, please? Give me your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Miko Wilson, 9391 Jericho Drive.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. I stand before you today to share my heartfelt desire and God-given calling to establish a group home for 5 or fewer teens. As a Christian former teacher and parent, I have been inspired both by personal experience and spiritual conviction to create a safe and nurturing space where young people can find hope, healing, and a sense of belonging. Throughout my life and career, I have encountered many teens who are struggling. It's not because of lack of potential, but because they lack consistent love, guidance, and stability. My faith reminds me that it is our responsibility to care for those who are vulnerable. The Bible says in James 1:27, religion that our God, our Father, accepts as pure and faultless as this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by this world. This scripture speaks directly to my heart. Many of today's youth may not literally be orphans, but they are often spiritually, emotionally, and functionally fatherless, longing for mentorship, compassion, and direction. As a parent, I understand the importance of consistent love, structure, and guidance in a child's life. As a former teacher, I witnessed how emotional wounds, broken homes, and lack of support can cause young people to fall behind and lose hope. I want to change this narrative. My goal is to open a group home that will serve as a place of refuge, healing, and empowerment, a place where young people are reminded of their worth and their God-given purpose. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. By starting this group home, I would be answering God's call to stand in the gap for teens who need care, structure, and someone to believe in them. It is my desire to create not just a home, but a ministry of love, discipline, faith, and opportunity. I'm committed to this mission and pray for the strength, resources, and partnerships necessary to bring this vision to life. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't see anyone else has signed up from this sheet to speak. Is anyone else speaking for or against this case? I see none. Can we have a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made and a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Ms. Owens beat you. And any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartelt,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shupp,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Ms. Owens, I'll have you start this time.
I have a question for the applicant.
Thank you. If you come forward, please.
How many teens are we talking about at one time?
There will never be more than 5 teens. I'm actually looking to just have 4 so that each of them will have their own bedroom.
And that was my next question. How many bedrooms?
There are 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And there's a bathroom that the staff would use in the basement and a finished basement as well. So there's actually a second bathroom, a half bath. So there's actually 2.5 bathrooms.
And how many staff would be there? Is there a ratio recommended?
Yes, there is a ratio recommended, but I would actually have 2 staff there at all times. So even though the state only requires 1 to 8.
And I know most group homes specialize in working with youth that come from a particular background or have a particular cause or need. Is there a particular one that this group home would have?
Well, we are just going to work with the state and the Jobs and Family, for children, that particular division, and a lot of them have various needs. So, there are some that we will not be able to serve because initially we wouldn't be able to have a certain level of license anyway, but we're not looking to service those who are of high, emotional needs, those who, maybe just coming from prison and those kinds of things. We're really looking to focus on those that are in the foster system, more so, not so much the juvenile delinquency.
Those are all my questions at the time. Thank
Okay.
you.
Mr. Bartle, you have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah. So where do these children come from?
Well, they come from
Like, geographically?
the state of Ohio. All of them will
anywhere.
come, and primarily, my hopes is in Cincinnati, but I would not have control over that when you receive a referral. It could be a child from Dayton, it could be a child from, Springfield. I wouldn't be able to guarantee that all the youth would be youth that actually are residents of Cincinnati or Colerain Township, for that matter. So, because it is a state-run, division of the state, all the kids could potentially be residents anywhere within the state.
Mhm. And do they all go to the local school district, I'm assuming, or?
So yes, they would actually go to the school system, the local school system, yes, that is correct. So there
and-
could be about 4,
Yeah.
students.
Assuming some of them have relatives or parents they can visit? Is that,
Absolutely.
yeah.
As long as their case manager has authorized and the courts have authorized visitation, they are able to visit. But typically what happens is they go to a neutral site. Oftentimes, they don't visit the home.
yeah. So the staff would take them somewhere?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Or their case manager would actually pick them up and take them.
And then when there's no school, like summer or weekends, are there activities to keep them occupied?
Absolutely. My hope is to actually have them more involved in sports, some of the club opportunities that are out there, also employment opportunities. These are things that I've done with my own children, and I feel like it teaches them, to have a greater, it teaches them to begin to develop those interpersonal skills, to understand authority. When you're having to do what the coach is asking you to do, you're having to work in a team environment. And then those kids who are old enough and have a desire to work, that's certainly something I promote. I think that the earlier you work, the more inclined you are to continue to be a productive, citizen and someone who wants to contribute to the workforce. I know I started at 14, and I definitely feel like that's something that helped me. And then I feel like empowers them to have their own money, to begin to, manage those resources. So absolutely, in addition to that, we'll have activities, and they'll go on a vacation, because just like my kids, we took them on a vacation in the summer. Every summer we'll also do some things like that, and just enrichment activities. All weekend we'll have those things, and then services and things like that as well on Sunday. So they'll have a very packed schedule. Absolutely, I feel like idle time is definitely the devil's workshop. So believe me when I say, pretty much all of their time will be filled except for when they sleep.
Not a question, but you're probably aware there's been other cases like yours before us.
I did hear of one.
And obviously neighbors are concerned. I'm surprised there's none here. But the whole, are they going to be loitering outside 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever else you can dream up as far as negative connotations. So that's kind of the problem that we were facing under the other cases. And then for staff, since this is the variance goes to the property, not to you. One of the issues I always have is you could be the greatest operator on the face of the earth, but if you sell out 5 years from now and a new operator comes in, they could be the worst operator, but it's still a group home for the next 100 years forever, right?
So it's tore down.
Can you confirm that for me?
Yeah, so this is a little bit different than a variance since it's a conditional use, but typically it would run with the property. There's nothing in the code that says that it doesn't, but you could always place a reasonable restriction on the conditional use that it's specific to this potential owner, and any future owner would have to come back to the board to renew the conditional use.
Okay.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's always kind of the kind of issues running through my head is the whole, if there are issues in the future, and you're long gone, but how do we handle certain other operators that might not be as great as you? So that's all.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Saito, you have any questions for the applicant?
No, sir.
Mr. Shep?
Yes, do you currently reside in this property?
I do not currently reside in the property.
Have you ever resided?
No, I have never resided in the property.
What would the staff's qualifications be?
So the direct care staff, I do not have a requirement that they have an associate's degree. They have to have at least a GED, and that's for the direct care staff. However, they will go through extensive training, training modules, as well as in-person training with me on the procedures manual, how to handle various situations, and then CARF, which is an accrediting agency. There's lots of things that they have our staff also make sure that they're trained in terms of de-escalating any potential situations with the youth. How to give a soft answer to turn away wrath, how to just in general communicate with the youth so that things don't escalate to begin with. So there's a lot of preventative things that we'll do to make sure that there aren't a whole lot of issues with respect to discipline. So that's going to be a primary focus for the staff in the area of training for them. And then obviously they'll have, training on just, regular household management, transporting the youth, and things of that nature, keeping notes and logging things. So there's so many different aspects of, what they'll have to do on a daily basis to make sure that we're in compliance, and things that the state just requires with respect to logging behaviors. And then of course there are therapists and, that will want to make sure that we're checking on and doing every day, which is one of the reasons why I want to make sure that there's 2 people there, during those waking hours. So let me just clarify that overnight, there won't always be 2 people there. So but there'll be, like I said, no more than 4 kids there, so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You good? Is this your first group home?
Yes, sir, it would be my first group home. My husband just retired. He did 23 years in the Air Force and another 18 years doing junior ROTC as an Air Force instructor. So, we are, he wants to stay retired for the most part. He's going to, provide a lot of mentorship and, do some hands-on activities with the youth, but I will be the one actually managing. So I'm kind of entering that next phase and chapter, and this is just something that a legacy project for me that I really want to, and I feel like I would really be, good at. I feel like we've had great outcomes with our own kids, and just just a lot of the experience that I have. I feel like I can, pass that on and really be an inspiration to these young people.
You mentioned security. Mm-hmm. So that's, for instance, if a youth does act up or becomes disruptive, mm-hmm. what is your plan to circumvent that or take care of that situation?
Well, it really just depends on what it is specifically, because again, one of the main things that I really want to emphasize with our team is de-escalation if there is an issue. First of all, let's be proactive. Let's kind of know what's going on with the kid. How was your day? And let's ask questions that aren't just your yes, no kind of thing. So they have to kind of give it in a more in-depth response, like, oh, it was okay, that kind of thing. So let's ask those, probing questions so we kind of know what's going on in a kid's, mind, so we can be on top of, like I said, prevention. So if they, say they have an argument with another youth or a fight or something of that nature, then obviously the two staff members who were there would break up the fight, and then we would, have their therapist involved to talk to them about, anger management, what can we do differently? Obviously, we wouldn't have them around each other for an extended period of time as well. Then that's one of the reasons why I want each of them to have their own room. Because if each of them have their own room, say you have an argument with your roommate, then guess what? Now you guys are fighting, within the room. So that's one of the reasons why that's something that's very important to me. But in addition to that, again, the therapy piece of it is big, because why are you upset? What triggered that? What can you do differently this time? What kind of tools, can we put in your toolbox so that, instead of you responding this way, your response next time, instead of you yelling or, wanting to get into a physical altercation, how about let's just walk away? Let's let them have it. What will that, do to you to, take the high road, so to speak, and, be in that way, because a lot of people think it's easy to just fly off, but to teach them that it really takes more strength to keep a cool head in a hard situation than it does just to go off and yell at people and just respond in that way. So just these kinds of things that I'm wanting to teach the children, and also through their therapy, through their group therapy sessions, and just through our little vignettes and different scenarios that we'll do, even outside of their individual and group therapy, so that they're constantly being reminded of how they should behave. So I was just giving you an example of maybe a situation that could happen. But if you have a specific one, then I can, address that as well.
You mentioned James, and it was referencing a charitable situation. So is this a charitable business, or is this for profit?
So we did register as an LLC, because it does take some time to, obtain your 501c3. But that is eventually our goal. But right now, technically, it would be considered a for-profit because of the structure at this time.
So is your intent then to make it a charitable business then?
That is the goal eventually, yes, but it does take some time. And because I would like to begin the process and the steps to move forward, that could potentially take 6 months, 8 months, it just depends. It's just easier to move forward as an LLC and still accomplish my goal, which is ultimately to help these kids, whether it's despite whatever designation the state may have, the mission is still the same for me, if that makes sense.
I have no further questions. You may be seated. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I have a question for staff.
Mr. Bartle has a question for staff.
Oh, sure. You won't be able to answer this. But I just was thinking, could it be possible to add a stipulation where there's like a yearly review between the operator and the township, where neighbors and police department and whoever else would review the operation, and if it's been going well, then things just keep moving forward. But if it hasn't been going well, at that point, I'm not sure what happens. But I was just curious if there's any kind of ability to have an annual review. That just popped in my head, so I know you can't really answer that. But
Yeah, I would defer to legal again.
I think that's kind of outside of the scope of our zoning authority here to require them to come back and meet with us every single year.
okay.
It'd be difficult to manage them too.
Or, yeah. And the township would
staff.
have to remember to.
Yeah, it's from
have
a
the
staff
annual-
perspective, now you're going to assign somebody to go and follow up on that.
Yeah.
I have a question for staff as well.
Go ahead, please.
I'm reading through this and I see that the basic way that it's described as for is the zoning district, single unit residential, but it also says with a few commercial properties. Maybe you can or cannot answer this without going into great detail, but in our previous cases, were those requests for group homes in different zoning districts? Because I'm just wondering why this one is the guidance, seek guidance, and the other ones were not.
No, they were seek
That's-
guidance as well.
Were they seek that's my question.
That's one I can answer.
Okay.
So the only zoning district where it's a conditional use is single unit residential. And for the record, we have always recommended staff seeks guidance up to this point.
Okay, that was my question.
Yep.
I didn't know if I was confused on that or had a different zoning district. Okay.
Thanks.
I had a question for staff. If we were to approve this, can we put a limitation on if it changes ownership, that it has to come back before the Board of Zoning?
I would defer to legal.
Ordinarily, I would say that conditions outside the scope of our zoning authority too, but in this circumstance, if your decision is really based on the operational aspects of the group home as the applicant has described it, then I think it would be reasonable to have a future owner or operator come before the board and just confirm that they're going to operate the group home in the same manner in order to continue that conditional use or renew it in that case.
Great, thank you. And that was the concern I was trying to address with Mr. Bartle, that we approve it now, but now we get the next person in, it's a bad player. It'd be good for the township to interview this person prior to allowing another user to do the same sort of business.
Typically, you won't know if they're a bad player until they become a bad player, and then
True.
it's too late.
But at that point, you will then have the opportunity to see what the past record is, if you do approve it.
Unless they're new.
Yeah, but the past record will then give you a bearance for the future, whether you would allow the future one, because the past one was good or bad, is how I would judge that.
Okay.
It gives us more data to process, is what I'm
I
saying.
would just say it allows you to confirm that they're going to continue operating the group home in a very similar or the exact same manner that it's been historically operated, which in this case, it's very operator owner specific how these homes are dealt with. So I think it would be a reasonable condition.
Okay, I can't make any motions, so any other questions for staff?
Yeah, I have a question. Mrs. Vesco said that at some point this will become a charitable foundation. Is that permissible to put that in there as well?
No, that one's outside the scope of our zoning authority as well. However they want to structure it doesn't really deal with zoning or the public health, safety, or welfare.
Okay, any other questions? I see none. Anybody would like to make a motion? You know I can't, so.
Well, the only caveat is our past history, and this case is really no different than the others, except now that we maybe have a way to, vet a new operator. It sounds like we have that option, correct?
Yeah, and I would say in all of your cases, every single property is unique in some way. There are no identical cases, so you're never setting any type of precedent with prior decisions.
Okay.
I will say, in this case, there was mention of some commercial spaces in the neighborhood. How far away are we referencing these commercial spaces?
Yeah, it's not going to be too close. It's heavily residential. I'll pull the aerial imagery up again.
So in actuality, that the commercial space is kind of a misleading statement.
Perhaps.
Okay. Because in the past, as to Ms. Owen's statement, and when we reviewed these, they were in a lot of them were in almost dead-end streets or in a kind of tight quarters. This one is a corner, so I don't know if it's much different than what we've looked for in the past. It's still, referencing the commercial space really is, to me, should not even have a bearing in this fact. So, we're still discussing at this point. No one's made a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion based on the fact that this granting of or approval of the variance sticks with the property and how it can impact the surrounding properties, I'll make a motion to deny the variance.
Okay, a motion has been made. Do we have a second to that effect?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Discussion? All right, roll call vote.
Mr. Bartle,
Yes?
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Unfortunately, ma'am, we cannot approve your appeal. Next case would be BZA 25-16. Does the staff have a presentation?
I do. BZA 25-16 is at 5766 Dry Ridge Road. This is a variance request. The parcel number is listed on the screen and in the packet. This is RER Rural Estate Residential. Excuse me. The applicant is Don Maslin, and the property owner is Don and Jennifer Maslin. A variance was requested to allow a newly constructed barn to be located closer than 200 feet to the right-of-way, and the property is an underdeveloped 11-acre parcel planned for future single-family home construction. The barn is needed in advance of the construction to store tools and materials securely during home construction, but the site constraints include a pond and a steep terrain behind the proposed home location. So a variance seeks to place the barn slightly in front of the anticipated front wall of the future home. It's a rural setting with large lots, and natural screening reduces the visual impact on neighbors. So if you turn your attention to the screen, you'll see that this is an extremely rural area. No commercial uses around here. And the property we're zooming in on is the property in question. And here's a more still version. It's a very large parcel. This, the applicant, Mr. Maslin, gave us a few site plans like this that show kind of where the barn would be. And you can see the screening of the trees on two sides in this photo. Here, we can't make out any other structures or neighbors. This is showing, I believe, Mr. Maslin standing in the woods. Hard to even see him. So this just paints a picture of that this intensity would not be great on the neighbors at all because they would likely never even see the structure. Here's a site plan that shows where the house, barn, and pond are proposed to be. As you can see, the barn is technically into the front yard of the home. That would be okay if it was 200 feet back, but it's not in this case, and that's what causes the need for the variance. This is a rendering of what the barn will look like that was sent to us by Mr. Maslin. And I believe when Mr. Maslin gives his presentation, he would like to speak on this map, but basically these gray shaded areas are the areas that were determined to be appropriate or suitable locations. The zoning issues can be found in section 3.2.2A1 and 3.2.2C2, and I've explained those. They're also in the packet. Staff finds that it's staff's opinion that the request is not substantial in nature. None of the neighbors will be impacted by this. It's staff's opinion the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered. Adjoining properties would not suffer a substantial detriment as a result of granting the requested variance. And it's staff's opinion the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed, and substantial justice would be done by granting the requested variance. So for that reason, staff recommendation is approval. Mr. Roberto?
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Yes, sir. You want to come and give your presentation, please? Name and address for the record.
Donald T. Maslin, 4033 Ridgedale Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45247. I don't have a whole lot to add other than when we bought the property, it had an outbuilding or a former garage. We bought the property out of an estate, and it had gone kind of unkept. After we purchased it for safety reasons with our insurance agent's advice, we got rid of the barn that some of the neighborhood kids had found to hang out in. So right now, there's no buildings on the property. We've cleared a lot of the undergrowth, the honeysuckle and stuff. We have, while doing that, left at least a 50-foot barrier on each side, as you would a green space on either side. When the zoning came out and took pictures, you cannot see either of our neighbor to the left and right from any part of the property because we've left the green space up in consideration not only for ourselves but for them, so they wouldn't have to to see the new home going up. The variance for the barn is, as the presenter had suggested, it is fairly rural, and in talking with our builder, that a lot of times things have a tendency of disappearing off of construction sites. And so the barn would be put up in conjunction with the home. We've also applied for a permit for the home, so this would be kind of simultaneously. Barn go in, that only takes a week, and then the house would go in immediately after, once it was completed.
Okay. Very good. Anything else?
Thank you for the presentation. Made that real easy. Appreciate your help.
We may come back, actually come back in a moment, so just stand. You can go seated, and we'll see if anybody else is. Anyone else speaking for this applicant? Anyone speaking against this applicant? I see a couple of names on this list. Is Rick Bergenecker?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not necessarily against it.
Okay, if you signed up to speak, if you would like to.
I wanted to hear it out. I live directly across the street, 5767 Dry Ridge Road.
Okay.
And I will be able to see everything. I'm in plain view of everything. I can see them over there all the time working. It's beautiful property, and I want something good there. The only problem I had was, are they gonna build a barn, not build a home? I didn't really know. I just what I came up here to hear. I was worried about a party venue, a party barn, noise ordinances and things of that nature, because there was neighborhood talk that someone was building a barn and it was gonna be used for parties. And that's kind of why I was here, to make sure that that's not what it was gonna be used for. If they're building a beautiful home, beautiful barn, I have no problem with that. That's great for the neighborhood. With rules in place, I was just trying to keep the integrity of the neighborhood in place, and that's basically it.
Great, I appreciate you coming in on that this evening. And then I see Jan Walter on this sheet. Okay. I'm not gonna mark that down that you spoke, but I'm just got it on the record. Very good. I see no one else on the sheet. Was anybody else wanting to speak for or against this applicant? I see none. Can we have a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
I'll second.
Motion and second has been made. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Miss Owens.
Yes.
Mr. Shup.
Yes.
Mr. Sydow.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Owens, you want to start us off?
I have no questions.
Okay, Mr. Bartle?
No questions.
Mr. Saito?
No questions, though. Everything was asked.
Mr. Shup?
None?
And I have a question for staff. Had they built the house and then the barn came second, would there be a need for this variance?
There would be, because they would still be building it in the front yard.
I mean,
and
the
it's not
picture to me looked like they were going to be pretty close to.
Yeah, the property, since it goes along that curve in Dry Ridge Road, let me go back. Everything in front of the front plane of the house, if you drew an imaginary line all the way to the property lines, anything in front of that line is going to be our front yard. And the barn does protrude in front of where that imaginary line would be.
Okay, so because you're using the house as the plane.
Correct. We can't really use a plane since nothing's there yet, but he did apply for the house, and it did show that it's going to be in front of the house.
Okay. All right. I have no other questions. So I see there are no questions. Does someone want to make a motion, please?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay. Any stipulations?
Second it.
None.
Okay. The motion as is, no
That's
stipulations.
for both variances.
Is that for both variants? Is there two variances?
Here's one.
No, I was going to address it when we get to the case. There was a second variance to allow for the barn to be built before the house, but since he went ahead and gave us the house plans as well, they were both approved, so there was no more need for that variance.
Okay, very good. So really, there's no second variance, so it's for just the variance in question, which is building the barn that's in the front yard of the home is the variance in question.
Correct.
Okay. So a motion's been made and second. No other clarification or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Miss Owens.
Yes.
Mr. Shup.
Yes.
Mr. Sydow.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Good luck, sir. Looks like a nice barn. I mean, I want one of those in my house, too. The next case would be BZA 25-17. Yeah, you don't have to stick around, sir, if you want to read. 25-17, does the staff have a presentation?
I do. BZA 25-17, 8505 Alt House Road. This is also a variance. The parcel number is listed upon the screen. This is RER, Rural Estate Residential. The applicant is Gabriel Lyon, and the property owners are Gabriel and Ashley Lyon. A variance is requested to allow an accessory structure in the front yard of the property. The applicant previously received BZA approval very recently, November 2024, for a lavender farm business with conditions. Prior conditions included requiring landscaping for parking, and a proposed accessory structure would function as a ticketing office supporting the approved time ticket system for traffic control. So if you turn your attention to the screen, you'll see the zoom in on the Lyons property on Alt House Road, right in the bend, former Schubert property. So right here. And here's a still of the property. This is going to have their house on it, if you recall, and also have a lavender and honeybee business. This is a sketch Mr. Lyons made, and the red H shows where this ticketing booth would be. You can see the house and you can see the imaginary plane showing that this would be in the side yard. Here's just another view of the property from above. And a map showing where the parking is going to be. It's going to be in the corner of the parking over on this part of Alt House Road. Their house is facing this way. So again, this being in the side yard, it would need to be in the rear yard. This is a rendering of what this ticketing booth is going to look like. And this is a rendering of the Lyons home. So you can see that it architecturally will match the home. Given that it's so far in front of the home, the applicant thought that was important to note. Okay, so basically, we made some conditions upon this business that inherently required a ticketing shack, but never really approved an accessory structure in the front yard. So while we could have just inherently drawn that conclusion, we thought it proper for the board to officially approve the accessory structure in the front yard, which is why we're here. So the staff findings are listed upon the screen. It's not substantial in nature. The essential character will not be damaged. It would actually be a little bit damaged if we didn't have it, because there would be no way to control that traffic upon the site. And in staff's opinion, the spirit and zoning behind the zoning requirement would be observed, and justice would be done by granting. So for that reason, staff recommendation is approval. Mr. Roberto?
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present? You didn't bring your wife with you this time?
No.
She's a much better speaker.
Probably. She's better looking at it. No, but thank you, David, for your help with that. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. I did have a slideshow. I don't know if we want to pull that up, but I think he pulled up most of the things. But yeah, it is in the spirit and nature of what you guys approved, and I wanted to thank you guys for hearing her out last time and approving that. It's a big moment for our family to get that approval and start with this next venture of our lives. We'll go ahead and skip to, let's go to slide 3. So again, just to kind of recap, what we're trying to do here is create an experience for Colerain Township and the surrounding communities, where people can go out and pick their own lavender bundles through a U-Pick farm system. We do want to offer educational opportunities for the beehives. So this is, again, like a recap from last time. Shouldn't be any environmental impact with this accessory building or the farm. If anything, it's providing more benefit for biodiversity. And then obviously we want to have community engagement and, reach out to people and have them come in for workshops. This is just kind of a few things that we've been doing since you guys approved last. So far we have about 1,100 lavender plants planted. We've put irrigation systems in. Actually, last week we did our first small batch essential oil production from a still that we purchased. And then that's my son, he's 5, he's helping me with the beekeeping. So figure that might give me some bonus points. But again, as David kind of described, there were some conditions on our site, such as putting in the parking lot with the screened-in landscaping and the ticketing system, which is really kind of the point of trying to get this accessory structure approved, so we can adhere to that. Just a reminder for the ticketing system, people will have to purchase in advance. They can't just show up to the property. They have to purchase online, and we have to have some way to check them in and make sure that they're coming through. And so that accessory structure, we go to the next slide. has both a front door and back door. So customers, there actually will be an A-frame. The render couldn't get that drawn on there. But there would be like an A-frame entrance, kind of like the front of our house. So they'll enter in through the front, we'll check them in, and they can exit through the back, which will then allow them to go out to the lavender fields and start their picking. They also have to come back through that back door to get back out to the parking lot. So we'll have fenced around that area so customers can't come in and out without our knowledge, and they have to check in. We saw this map. This was the better map versus my super official hand-drawn map that hopefully did justice. But that's where the house is being built currently. Right now we have the foundation in, and they should be starting the framing of the house this week. But yes, as it's described, it is kind of on the side of the house. I don't have another area to put this because it is pretty steep slope going down into the woods on that property. I did have the corner of that parking lot reinforced with concrete blocks, and there's drainage under there with a catch basin right behind that then flows down into the creek.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I think
Is that the end?
the next picture after that I did want to address the character of the area.
Sorry.
Because we are in a rural area. I think everybody on that street realizes this is the country, and I don't think adding another structure would be a detriment. I know it's hard to see, but every single one of those red pens are a barn or accessory structure that somebody has close to the road as we go up through the road, and that's within a quarter mile of our property. And so adding another accessory structure, I don't think takes a detriment to the area. I actually think it enhances the rural feel that we're trying to go for, and then make sure that we have the experience of a farm experience you pick that people can come out and enjoy. And that's really it. I think that's family from when we first discovered that we really liked the lavender and lavender farms, and so that's what really kind of drove our ambition to start our own U-Pick farm. So I want to thank you for your time, and again, thank you for the prior approval. Welcome any questions.
Okay, we'll address that shortly. Thank you. Anyone else speaking for or against this case? If you don't mind, just come forward, give your name and address for the record, and state however you want it to present.
Hi, Carrie Holm. I live at 8511 Althouse Road. So I'm the property right behind this property.
Okay.
So I was just coming because I wasn't sure what this was going to be. I wasn't sure if it was going to be in my front yard. So I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't the case, and it sounds like it's not. It looks beautiful. I guess my one question would be, and I don't know if I addressed it to him or to you guys, would
Address it
be...
to us, and we'll
Okay,
then...
yeah. My one question would be, it sounds like the parking will be where they're creating parking up front on the road. My driveway does have an easement that he's allowed to use, so I just wanted to make sure no visitors would be using that in a continuous basis. Would be my only question.
Okay,
Thanks.
we can address that shortly. Anyone speaking for or against this appeal? I see none. Do we have a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Let's see, Mr. Saito, it's your turn.
Okay, I would question Mr. Lyons. Couple of questions for you. I guess I'll start with what the parking lot easement. Is anybody going to be using that? Or how are you?
No, we would definitely not allow customers to use her driveway, and she's been gracious enough to allow us to get back to the backside of our property and really kind of service that area. But no, the parking lot is actually in right now. It's usable. That's where we park most of the time now. I do drive down her driveway currently to get back to the B's until we have a more permanent location as our home being built. But no, the intent is that that lavender field will have fence along the edge and trees down her driveway side, so that it's clear intention that nobody can go onto her driveway. And we can't have signage to show that where people to go, but we do have the 8505 address that people will be able to map and know where the parking lot is. So Hopefully, nobody goes down your driveway on accident, but they certainly won't be able to get into the field that way because we will have either landscaping or signs, or sorry, not signs, fence.
Trees or fence.
Trees, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and how big is the building, and is it just for ticketing, or will other stuff go on in the building?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It is 16 by 20, so it's really kind of more of a shed type thing. As we try to develop the business, we do plan to hopefully have some of the farm goods, so the lavender bundles, the essential oils that we're distilling, and some of the honey products that we would make on the property. And so I think that's going to the agricultural use that a lot of people use for farm stands in the area. I know on two ends of our roads, there's farm stands selling eggs and honey and stuff like that. So items produced on the farm would be potentially sold there.
Okay, no further questions.
Mr. Shupp?
I have none.
Ms. Owens?
I have none.
Mr. Bartle?
So if somebody does show up without a ticket and they pull in because they don't know any better, I guess you'll just ask them to leave? Is that how that works?
Well, my intention would be if we don't have a full roster right there, because we have limited parking, so we have 18 spots. So if there's open parking and people can come in and see that there's something there, if there's a time slot open for when they're arriving, then I would just book them in online at the time, which would then take up anybody else's opportunity to come there and make sure we still contain that traffic flow.
Right, okay. So this is really going onto the side yard, correct?
It is, yes.
But the variance says front yard. Does it matter?
It's technically the side yard.
I mean, does it matter as far as what we approve?
You're approving the variance for the site, or the structure shown on the site plan.
Yeah, okay. That's all, thanks.
Thank you.
Don't go away. I haven't talked yet. See why your wife's better than you? Are you going to have electric in this little
We do
building?
plan to have electric. That's why we need some type of building there so we can run electric out and have the computer system to actually physically check
Are
people.
you going to have some heating and air in there too?
Yes, it'll be a conditioned building.
Unfortunately, we should have caught this when we did the original plan, because
Yeah.
we knew we were going to collect tickets. This is how we were going to collect tickets was not defined. So I think it just makes sense, you know, listen, if the board wants to listen to me or not, it makes sense to allow it, because otherwise how are you going to do it? So my input. Do we have a motion? You can sit down.
Thank you.
So, thanks for letting me give you grief. Does the board have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the variance.
Okay, the motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shupp,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. It's been approved. Looking forward to some good things there. The next case is BZA 25-19, and that was already captured in the previous, so we canceled that.
Correct. I just technically put a slide in that says the case has been withdrawn by the zoning administration.
Okay.
Sorry about the confusion earlier.
I'll ask this just because I'm curious. Was the applicant charged for this piece?
They were refunded.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
For the record, Mr. Lyon was not charged either.
Okay, thank you. And I think that's fair. The next case, Mr. Saito has asked to be recused. He has a personal conflict with this property. So we'll ask if he will leave the space and ask Ms. Tracy Smith if she will come forward. Thank you. So the case number before us is BZA 25-20. Does the staff have a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next case is BZA-25-20 at 8871 Colerain Avenue. This is a variance request. The parcel number is listed upon the screen. The zoning district is GOR, our Green Space Open Space Recreation Space Zoning District. The applicant is Scott Huber, and the property owner is Groesbeck Methodist Church. There's a variance request to allow an accessory structure in the side yard less than 200 feet from Colerain Avenue. An original structure was built there in the late 90s or 2000s when such placement was permitted. In October 2024, new zoning rules required accessory structures to be in the rear yard or setback 200 feet. They were basically based on old rules, but they were changed just slightly. Due to full deconstruction and new placement, the structure lost its legal nonconforming status, and variance is needed to comply with updated zoning regulations. So if you turn your attention to the screen, you'll see that this is just adjacent to Farbach Warner, which is the reason for the GOR zoning district designation. This is the parcel as outlined. It has access on Joseph Road and on Colerain Avenue. The portion of the parcel that will contain the accessory structure is not 200 feet back and is technically in the front yard. It's on a corner lot, so they have two front yards. Yeah, it could be one way to look at it, or it's in their front yard if you're looking at it from Colerain Avenue. So this shows Farbach Warner, this shows the church building and some adjacent businesses. And here is a building that was previously on the site. And the site itself, you can see the parking lot and the access to Joseph Road and the access to Colerain Avenue. It's a proposed 4,800 square foot building that will be built on the site. And the zoning issue, as we've seen in other cases, is that accessory structures have to be located in a rear yard, whether they're residential or commercial in nature. So the staff findings, these are, by the way, the Duncan factors. This is a legal standard we use in Ohio to evaluate variance requests. And these are listed in the packet and upon the screen, and I'll read the most relevant in this case. It's staff's opinion the request is not substantial in nature. Although this is in our green space, open space, recreation space zoning district, it's also adjacent to commercial uses, that very heavy commercial uses. It's staff's opinion the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered, or that adjoining properties would not suffer a detriment. And it's staff's opinion the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed and substantial justice would be done by granting the variance. So for that reason, staff recommendation is approval. Mr. Abreu.
Thank you. Just for clarification, this was varianced before, was it not? For the buildings that are there currently, or the ones that are tearing down?
Yeah, the applicant may have more information on that.
I believe it was, because I think I was on the board when we approved it. So in this case, it's coming back before the board because we're tearing down an old structure and building a new structure, therefore it obsoletes the old variance, or is it not?
I was not aware of the previous variance.
Okay. I'll get clarification from the applicant. Is the applicant present? Name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name's Scott Huber. I'm a site civil engineer, land surveyor for Abercrombie & Associates. My address is 8111 Cheviot Road, Suite 200, 45247. Thank you for hearing this case tonight. Yes, I think, well, to start with your question on the variance, according to the case history in the staff report, that the previous building was there as of right. I don't think there was any variances granted. It was under an old zoning designation, and it was under the old zoning regulations. So, and that's just what the case history states. But I think the important thing is to note here is that we have a practical difficulty with moving our building into the rear yard. Do you have the pictures that I sent you earlier today?
I have aerial imagery, and you emailed them to me?
I sent them to you.
You did, okay.
I have a paper copy if they're not available, if I could approach the chair.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let the record state that I have been handed a photograph of the rear of the property. Is that what this is?
This is on the side yard where we're going to put the new building addition.
Okay.
You can see a shed there in the photograph.
She's trying to locate the.
Is this the photo that you presented?
Yeah, that's a photo that they're looking at.
This is sufficient.
Basically, what you can see in that photo is there's some Duke Energy equipment that's on the site next to the shed that's on the property right now. That's preventing us from moving this building further to the west. So that is presenting a practical difficulty for us to get this thing in the rear yard. Also, as you move further west beyond those utilities, the stream bank comes up close to the edge of the parking lot, and it's not practical for us to build a building, on the edge of the stream. So I think what we're trying to say is that this is really the only location for this building addition. So that's why we're asking for the variance. I guess that's all I have. I do have, there's 2 representatives from the church that are with me here tonight. If you have questions on the operation, on what the building is, or operation of the church, but that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I see 2 other people have signed up for this. Is it Diana?
Yeah, those are the 2 representatives from the church.
Either one of you care to speak this evening, ma'am, sir?
We can.
Okay. You've signed up. I'm giving you an opportunity if you like. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
Diana Nolte, 4913 North Rayburn Drive, Cincinnati, 45223.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm representing Groesbeck Church. We had a facility there for 20-some years, and we outgrew it for our youth, and so we wanted to build a larger building, and so we engaged Scott to help us make that happen. We'll be using it for our youth and for outdoor activities that we do, and so we need it where it is based upon the electric and the water, plus the convenience for the youth to walk from the main church building to this building.
Okay.
That's
Thank you.
why we're asking for the variance.
Appreciate that. And Mr. Powers, do you want to speak? Okay, I'm going to note that you did not speak. All right, anyone else for or against this applicant? I see none. Can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Make a motion?
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call vote?
Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Miss Owens.
Yes.
Mr. Shep.
Yes.
Miss Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. And Mr. Saito, you have questions for excuse me. Yes. You've changed characters and changed names, so hold on a second. Ms. Tracy, Ms. Smith, do you have a question for the applicant?
I had one, but the lady that addressed us already answered it, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shep?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Owens?
No questions.
Mr. Bartle?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Come on up.
Scott?
Scott, yep. I didn't, unless I missed it, how big is this building gonna be?
We're at
4,800.
yes, 4,800 square feet, yes.
Okay. And it's not like classroom space, is it, or is it?
It's
Combination.
assembly area, it's a storage area for equipment for the church van. There's gonna be a couple bathrooms in there and things like that.
But a permanent building, not a trailer?
It is a permanent building.
Permanent building.
Correct, yes. Yep.
That's all, thanks.
Thank you.
That was one of my questions I asked about permanent or not. Scott, why aren't they attaching to the building?
Well, I think it's based on what they had previously. I mean, they, like Ms. Nolte said, they kind of outgrew their area that they had. That building, that previous building was kind of wasn't a permanent building. So I think they've, they have a vision of where they want to go and expand their youth program. And I think that's why they've done it. It was there previously, and they just want to expand it and make a bigger use out of it.
Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions. Anyone on the board have any questions for staff, or anyone would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Discussion? Roll call vote?
Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Miss Owens.
Yes.
Mr. Shep.
Yes.
Miss Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Your variance has been approved. We'll dismiss Ms. Smith and allow Mr. Saito to come back in. Staff will go retrieve him. Thank you, Ms. Smith, for taking the opportunity to be up here. It gives us a water break, so. Anyone needs to use the bathroom, please go ahead and do it now. We'll afford you the time if you need to. He may have left the building as a whole.
You went home.
Did he go home?
I'm not sure. I don't see him.
Is he Scott?
I can see him.
You can see him. Okay.
He's coming. He's coming. We'll take a 5-minute recess. So if you want to go ahead, it's out to the doors and to the right. We'll resume at 7:26. We are taking a break for 5 minutes.
Bang the gavel.
Allow the opportunity to. We'll call back the meeting back to order. And this would be, now we're, just to make sure I'm on the right spot, we're at BZA 25-21.
Correct.
Does the staff have a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so BZA 25-21 is at 5,000 Hanley Road. This is another variance request. The parcel number is listed upon the screen. This is in the SUR Single Unit Residential Zoning District. The applicant and property owner is Jeffrey Albers. So a variance is requested to allow an accessory structure in the front yard without meeting the 200-foot setback requirement. Like many of our cases tonight, the zoning resolution prohibits front yard accessory structures unless set back 200 feet from the right-of-way. The property previously had an accessory structure in the location since at least 1996. In October 2024, we had a zoning resolution update, and the demolition, like in the other case, triggered the compliance with new rules. The front lot line is over 600 feet from Hanley Road, but there's no panhandle access. This is on a private drive, so the setback is measured from a private drive, not from Hanley Road. This results in only 12 feet between the private drive and the accessory structure. So if you turn your attention to the screen, you can see our aerial imagery. Zooming in, even though this is in the SUR, it's maybe not as densely populated as most SUR properties in the township. So this is the private drive if you follow along the blue dot. And this is about where the accessory structure would go. So you'll see in a later image how far he is from Hanley Road. Yeah. So Hanley Road is all the way down here. And by definition, it is a private drive because of the number of driveways it serves. You go all the way back, and then his front yard is anything in front of the front plane of that house due to our private drive regulations. This is how the neighbor accesses their property, and he's the very last one back here. So these are just a couple images that the applicant sent in, and again shows the distance from Hanley. Only this one shows exactly where the proposed accessory structure would be built, and it would replace a structure that had already been on that site. This is just kind of a rendering of the front front elevation of what the structure would look like. The zoning issue is the same as the other cases we've already discussed, and the staff findings are the same as well. And because this is not seen as a substantial in nature request, staff recommendation is approval. Mr. Roberto.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Come and give me your name and address to the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Albers, and I reside at 5000 Hanley Road, 45247.
Thank you very much.
So my wife and I bought the property in 2011. It was under a bank foreclosure, had sat vacant for 18 months, so it was in pretty disarray. We took it on as a project to revitalize because it's a very unique mid-century modern home. The barn was actually built in around 1897. So I believe the barn was the first piece of structure on the property, which was originally 19 acres from Hanley Road to the back of our property. And then in 1996, the owner before us subdivided the properties and then sold off for new housing subdivisions and kept the 3.5 acres where we were. So the barn was there before the house. The house was added on in the 50s and then in the 70s. When we moved in, the barn was in decent shape, not really usable. It was just a structure that was there on site. Over time, over the last 14 years, the structure has begun to deteriorate. Water had penetrated the front of the the front of the barn where our driveway side is, and it began pushing the stone wall inside the barn backwards. In turn, it was pushing the beam out the back of the building, and the building became unstable. So throughout our efforts to rehab this property, we've touched about every part of the property but the barn. The barn is got to the point where it's not usable. So we have begun the process of having drawings drawn to make a 2-level garage. It will sit within the exact footprint of the barn. It will be a little bit shorter than the length of the barn and a couple feet wider than what the barn is. So the barn is built into the bank, it's 2 levels, and the intention is to have the garage built right in the exact same spot, 2 levels with a lower concrete basement and an upper framed-in 4-car garage. The structure will match the architectural nature of the house in color, design, pitched roof, and everything, and the garage will actually be considerably lower than the barn itself. My neighbor Frank does cut through the property. His driveway from the barn is not 12 feet, it's more like 50 foot from the barn to his private drive. But Frank and I have discussed over the years, and he has been very pleased with the upgrades we have made to the property since we took it over. Other than that, that's just pretty much all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. Anyone speaking in favor? Anyone speaking against? I noticed only one on the sign-in sheet, so I have a motion to close the public portion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
I'll say that again because my mic was off. Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Ms. Owens.
Yes.
Mr. Shep.
Yes.
Mr. Sydow.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Ms. Owens, it's your turn now. Do you have any questions for the applicant or staff? Turn your mic on.
I do not.
Thank you. Mr. Bartle?
No questions.
Mr. Sydow?
I have no questions either.
Mr. Shep?
None?
Did you guys go to the same architect for the garage design? Because it looked very similar. Okay. I have no questions for you. It looks like a very nice building. Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make the motion to approve the variance.
Okay, the motion's been made. Any second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Ms. Owens.
Yes.
Mr. Shep.
Yes.
Mr. Sydow.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. You've been granted. Looking forward to some great things. It's a private drive though. I don't know if I can come see it or not. You have to invite me to come see it. So. All right. The next case would be BZA 25-22.
Correct.
Staff have a presentation?
I do.
Great.
BZA-25-22 is at 12055 Lick Road. This is another variance request. The parcel is listed on the screen and in the packet. This is also in our GOR Green Open Recreation Space Zoning District. The applicant is Sarah Rice Collins, and the property owners are David Collins and Sarah Rice Collins. A variance is requested to allow an accessory structure in the front yard. The property is located in the green space area of the township and surrounded on 3 sides by Richardson Forest Preserve with Walnut Creek Stables across the street. The primary structure has existed upon the lot since 1978 and is set back approximately 115 feet, but it doesn't meet that 200-foot threshold. If you turn your attention to the screen, you can see that this is in an extremely rural area of the township, excuse me. You can see the house and you can see the property around it. Here's another aerial imagery. And this shows the drive up to the property. And there's several pictures that were sent to me by the applicant, so I will just kind of show you those pictures. Looking down the driveway to the house from Lick Road. Looking to the west from the driveway toward the location where they propose to build the detached garage. This is the closer view of the location for the detached garage. And it won't look like that, but that's a representation of where the detached garage will be built, if approved. So here's a site map that also shows that this will be technically in front of the house. The zoning issue is the same as in the other cases, and the staff findings are the same as well. The staff finds that this request is not substantial in nature and would not harm the character of the neighborhood, so therefore staff recommendation is approval of the requested variance. Mr. Roberto?
Thank you. Is the applicant present? If you like, bend that microphone down, please, you stay in your chair.
I
was gonna try and stand up.
No, please, if it's inconvenient for you, please don't do that. If you just state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. I'm glad with this, it's enough.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks for being accommodating.
My name is David Collins, live at 12055 Lick Road in Colerain Township. Came to Cincinnati a long time ago to go to school, which I graduated from, and then went to work for the city, Hamilton County, excuse me, in their building department and their zoning department. And was very, very happy to be on that side of the orders according to applying zoning regulations. And now being of experience on the other side a little bit, it was interesting and fun to go through. I've allowed my brilliant wife, who now can take care of these things very readily and has with her experience. So I'm going to turn this over to her, but I appreciate your conditions, particularly with your own staff who went through the pain of it with us and has done a nice job of helping us. And we appreciate your conditions of whatever this hearing may come from. But I believe we have a good condition to explain to you how these odd lots get built in a partial way that limits you is what you could ever do with it in the future. And one of that one photograph that you saw was grass, and that's our front yard. You just can't do it, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming out and making time to be here.
I'm Sarah Rice Collins, 12055 Lick Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45251. And as my husband explained, we're another one of those accessory structures in the front yard situations, but also as the zoning department explained to you, we are on an 8-acre lot. We're surrounded on 3 sides by the Richardson Forest Preserve, and we did the opposite of what most empty nesters did. We had a condo downtown for 17 years and wanted a house with a yard. I promised him 1 acre and got 8. Now I have to mow it. We can kind of see, we went into a medical situation in the last year, and we had a 2-car garage that we needed to build a ramp. And so the 2-car garage became a 1-car garage. His cars are in storage. And so we are here to apply for a variance to locating a detached 2-car garage. Ours would be just as pretty as the rest of them. We didn't give you a picture, but I have one to show you.
Yeah, your rendering is not as nice as what's been presented in the past, so.
One of the persons who signed up is our architect, so he'll vouch for the beauty of it. And we had no clue when we bought the house. One of the pictures they didn't show is that when they went to the road and had the big expanse of grass, that's where the front of our house faces, that big expanse of grass. So we just assumed that was the front yard. And then when you start reading the rules, and we're not about to say that's not what the rules say, but we're asking that you give consideration that like as we said, the only people who see our yard is the horses across the street. Our closest neighbor is a 1/4 mile away, and there's no visibility, and we don't want visibility. We love the ruralness of the neighborhood. We are adding more trees as if there aren't enough out there, and we ask that you give consideration to our request.
Thank you very much. Anyone speaking for or against this applicant? I've got 2 others signed up. Mary Ann Thompson, and John Spencer.
I'm the architect, so if you have questions about the architecture of it, that's why I'm here.
Okay, so you have no need to speak.
I don't need to speak, no.
Okay. All right, I see no one else is speaking for or against. Can we have a motion to close the public portion, please?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
All right, a motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second. In discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartelt?
Yes.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Shep?
Yes.
Mr. Sydow?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Okay, where I'm at now. Is it Ms. Owens, are you up this again? We'll start with you. This is a record number of cases, by the way. So.
Literally.
Do you have anything?
Oh, I didn't know you said start with me. I'm so sorry.
All right.
I'm still looking over. I have no questions at this time.
Okay, do you reserve the right to ask questions later?
I don't think so. I see the pictures that I was looking for.
Okay. Mr. Bartle?
No, but I'm just assuming, and staff can answer this, that anything built there is going to be within the height limitations and anything else that might come up.
Yeah, absolutely. When you grant a variance for it to be in the front yard, it still has to meet the zoning resolution on every other aspect.
Right, okay. That's all.
Okay.
Great question.
Mr. Saito?
I have no questions.
Mr. Shep?
I have none.
And I don't have any questions either, than I was really looking forward to another one of these glass barn door houses that's ground. So you gotta talk with you gotta go talk with those other architects and, okay. No, he's gotta go talk to the other architects. All right, do we have a motion? Anyone want to make a motion to this case?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion's been made to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt?
Yes.
Miss Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Shup?
Yes.
Mr. Saito?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. It's been granted. I wish you well. I'm looking forward to great things.
Thank you very much.
All right, the next case, before the staff gives a presentation, I need to address the audience and give the applicant an opportunity to make a decision on whether or not I'm going to participate on the board. So I've received a few emails regarding this case because I am literally a neighbor to the property. I have not had any conversations to anyone with the exception of staff to this email. As a matter of fact, I forwarded it to staff, made sure that they were aware that I had no conversations outside the purview of letting them know that I received it. And I am a neighbor to the property literally across the street. So if you want me to recuse myself, I will do so.
No, we appreciate that you're here, that you'd be a good person to.
Okay, so I'm just, if you don't mind, just come on record to saying that you don't have no objections to that effect, and then we'll present with the presentation.
We do not have any objections to you staying on this
All right.
conversation.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Yes.
I promise I will not be biased. So case number BZA 25, and you can sit down at this point, and we'll call you up just in a second. 25-23, does the staff have a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
Our final case of the evening is case BZA-25-23. This is for 3360 West Galbraith Road. This is a use variance in the MUR multi-unit residential zoning district. The applicant is Mr. Mike Hundley, and the property owner, according to Hamilton County, is still Colerain Township. A use variance is requested to allow automotive services in the multi-unit residential zoning district. The proposed business, California Cars, is not a permitted use in this zone. The property is the former Station 26 firehouse. A use variance is required for this business and basically any business to operate at this location. The proposed use represents a shift in the intensity from a low-traffic, community-based use, fire station, to a higher-intensity commercial use. Increased intensity may introduce concerns related to traffic, noise, operation hours, and compatibility with the surrounding residential character. And to be clear, there is residential character, there is single-family, there is multifamily, and there is a little bit of business. And if you turn your attention to the screen, you can see that there is quite a mix of uses. This is one of the most traveled roads in Colerain Township. And that is the firehouse right here. So you can see in this picture, I thought it illustrated it really well when I looked at it earlier. You see mobile homes behind, you see residential properties across the street, and you see a business next door. However, it is still zoned MUR multi-unit residential. So what's currently on the ground is different from the zoning district because our land use goals are projecting a long-term use instead of what's on the ground right now. So I just want to show some different angles of the fire station. So here's one way to get into the fire station, which is directly adjacent to a side street. This is looking directly down the street, so you can see the fire station and proposed auto shop. And then across the street, you can see that there are single-family homes. And here's one final view. This shows a commercial business, a drive-through liquor store next door. The zoning issue here is that automotive uses are prohibited in the MUR multi-unit residential zoning district. Staff findings are that it's staff's opinion the request is substantial in nature, since it is zoned MUR. It's staff's opinion the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered, or the adjoining properties wouldn't suffer a substantial detriment with conditions especially. And it's staff's opinion the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed by granting the variance, but staff does seek guidance. If the board so chooses to approve this variance, I have some potential conditions listed on the screen. I put 4 in bold that I think are quite important, since we're raising the intensity of this site from an institutional use that has a very high community benefit, like fire prevention, to more of a business use. I think it's critically important that we require this site to have a 15-foot wide streetscape buffer to bring in some of that landscaping that would be required of new businesses if they were building. And if we allow that highly intense use, we should balance it out, basically. It's my opinion that outdoor storage of junk, debris, and inoperable vehicles should not be permitted. The existing curb cut that's used for fire trucks should be totally blocked permanently, and that any signage and sign structure should be removed. And I have a diagram showing what that might look like. Right now, this is where the fire trucks would go in and out. It's our department's opinion that leaving that open is not good for walkability. It's not good for site safety and vehicular safety. And it might encourage a future use to move into the building that's going to use those doors in a way that the California CARS has stated that they're not. So my idea would be the site circulation to be the purple line, where it's in out on one entrance and in only on one entrance and out only on another, and to block off that the width of that fire truck entrance and replace it with a 15-foot streetscape buffer. So this is showing that wide entrance that I'm requesting be blocked off if approved. And this is showing what that would look like. Mr. Roberto?
Thank you. I just had some clarification. You said you want all signage removed, so that means you're not going to permit a sign?
We would permit a sign because it's in. Yeah, they would be able to have any signs that are allowed in the MUR zoning district.
Which are not.
They would be able to have building signs, basically.
So they would need to come back for a variance for a sign should they want.
If they wanted a sign that didn't meet the code, they would need to come back and get a sign variance.
So what code, your building sign is right now, the Sparky, whatever on the front of the building, that's the building sign. Is that what you're referencing?
It would be signs on the wall that have the name of the business. Okay. That's another thing that goes back to the intensity. The reason we don't allow signs in the MUR zoning district is because they're seen as too intense. So allowing them to have a new ground sign wouldn't really be right for that zoning district anyway. If they wanted that, they could certainly request a variance.
So anybody that was going there as a business would be in the same situation as far as a sign?
Well, if you look at the diagram, the reason for that requirement was that the sign's located right here.
Correct.
If we require them to have in only here, they would need to access this somehow. So they would actually need to take down some of that grass, because right now there's just a tight squeeze through. To have a realistic way to get into those garages, they would need to drive right through where the sign is. So I don't have anything against their current ground sign. It's just in the way to be able to effectively close off this curb cut.
Has the applicant seen this presentation?
I'm not sure if he's seen the diagram, but we did talk at length on the phone today about the conditions that are being proposed, and we are in agreement on the landscape buffer. Maybe there could be some negotiation on some of the other ones.
Yeah. We'll get further in the weeds. I don't think we're being fair to a business if we're not allowing them a sign when the adjacent two properties have now illegal signs, but they're still signs nonetheless.
Okay.
I just want to be fair because it is adjacent to 2 commercial properties. And actually the next 3 properties have signs.
If they can
The
keep
next 4
this,
have signs.
if they can keep the sign and still manage to get to those garage doors, I think that would.
Okay. And we'll let you give your presentation on how you plan on proceeding in a minute. I apologize for hijacking it. I just wanted to have some clarity on that when he said that no signs. Application, you want to go ahead?
My name is Mike Hunley, 5661 Clear Creek Drive, Hamilton, Ohio. I'm representing the owner, Eddie Reynosa, from California Cars. California Cars is a car reconditioning operation. They started with 2 guys in a van in 1996. They now hire 400 employees throughout the country in 12 or 13 states. They are dealership aligned operation. They don't do retail to the general public. This concept is they do all the dealership prep, reconditioning, and used car reconditioning, very light work in this environment. They're required to have all the vehicles in the shop and out of the shop in 48 hours. So there won't be a lot of cars on the lot. The project, we're basically asking for a use variance, and it was attractive because it had the bays that they could do this process. They're introducing a new process of ceramic coating, which the dealerships are asking for. They've got in with a certain brand, and they feel the Cincinnati market is right for this. And they want to be able to bring clients, dealership management into this shop office area, and thought this location was a great location for it, with the exact same configuration, other than the, I'm gonna call it residential area of the firehouse right now, and that would be some future use. Right now, it'll stay in that same configuration, but probably be office space, shop space, storage space someday. The parking area will be used for staff parking as it was used for previous staff parking. They look to have anywhere probably from 5 to 8 people initially, going to 8 to 12 staff in hand. That'll include marketing, general manager, administrative, and then obviously technicians. So the use variance, basically taking it from a firehouse to more of a industrial commercial type setting, sort of with office space and shop space. We're agreeable on the buffer. We had a discussion, and I read the notes, and I've been in contact with the owner, and he thinks it's a great idea, to enhance the property. He's for it all the way. I did speak to him with the notes that I received. It's a 15 by 20. We'll probably have to look at those numbers again, which was 300 square feet, I believe, is what we were talking about. The rendering looks like it goes a little bit more over there. And we did talk about signs today, which I'm glad you brought it up. He really likes the marquee sign Porsche that's out there now. It has a sign above it that says something, Colerain Township Fire Department, Firehouse number 26. He's not interested in the marquee portion, but he likes the sign, and he would like to have some signage out there just to say, hey, this is where we're at. If clients are coming in or whatever, they know where the business is. The only other signage that I'm aware of is above the doors, it says Firehouse 26.
Sparky.
Yeah. So that would have to be looked at, but there has to, he would like signage on the property, and if we have to put in another something down the road, we can do that. But our discussion today was about using the existing sign, and I think we could incorporate it in, and you and I can have, Dave's been great through the whole process, so we can have that discussion. If we have to come back, we'll do that. So that's really what we're trying to accomplish here. It's a dealership operation. I brought a Franciscan Magana today. He is the operations manager they're doing their work inside dealerships, leased space. They felt this was a good opportunity. They do a lot of work for Jeff Weiler, the Mercedes-Benz in Westchester and Northern Kentucky, and then the Jeff Weilers and a couple places on Route 4. Jeff Weiler's come this side, so they think it's a good central location for this operation. Okay?
Any other thing to discuss?
No, I don't think I have anything.
All right. I so noticed that, Francisco, you signed up to, are you planning on speaking this evening?
No, since I never.
Okay.
I do have one more comment, if I can.
Yes, sir.
The potential conditions, we're agreeable to everything in the bold. We really, we're willing to put, I think that's where I got the 300 square feet of landscaped areas. We're willing to put the existing curb in. The signage was, we want to be able to use the existing sign if we can. If not, we'll come back and put another sign variance or whatever in. As Dave and I spoke today, the master parking plan's not going to change a bit. The parking lot's not going to change, so we don't really want to get involved in redesigning a parking lot. And it's going to be minimal parking that we need. And of course, we're not going to leave storage of junk or anything outside. So we're very agreeable to the 1, 2, 3, 4 potential conditions that are in bold there. The other ones, I think, are, we don't want to really get into that. It's just throwing good money after bad money, especially the parking plan. So.
Okay, thank you. I see no other persons have signed up to speak. See none? Do we have a motion to close the public portion?
Make a motion. Close the public portion.
Okay, the motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Mr. Sydow,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Sydow, do you want to start us off, please?
Yeah, I just have one question for Mr. Huntley. You mentioned that this was primarily a dealership operation.
It's contract dealer, they contract dealerships.
Would individuals be allowed to come in and ask this company to recondition their car?
They do not do that right now. And I'm not saying in the future that might be something, I'm not aware of that. But
Okay.
in their states that they work in, it's 100% dealership. They may do their own cars occasionally or something, but nothing off the street at this time.
Okay, no further questions.
Okay, Mr. Shup?
That was my question.
Okay, Ms. Owens?
No questions.
Mr. Bartle?
So, are you saying the 3 unbold conditions, you're not really agreeing to?
Turn your mic back on.
These were potential conditions, and the master parking plan is the parking lot as it exists today. It's going to serve the same purpose as the
I mean, would they just submit the same it's not a big deal, is it?
I can agree to that. If they're willing to do the ones in the bold, I could see a fair compromise in the board making a motion where they do not need to do a master parking plan.
But you would want the dumpsters to be screened, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that wasn't in question, so that was, he wasn't arguing that, right?
I'm not arguing that. I think that's something that's easily done, and if that's, the master parking plan, the partials, I think the biggest issue here is the buffer zone, and where we have to really line it out and understand what that is. We're willing to do something there, 300 square feet, if it's 350 or whatever it is, we're willing to work with that. It enhances the property, it helps the neighborhood. The owner thought it was a reasonable ask, and I think that's fine. It's just.
So the combining the lot into the 3 parcels into one, is that a
That's
deal.
not you know, as long as we don't have to do, is that something that we would have to do then?
Yes.
If it's a condition, yeah.
You would have to go
Then
to,
I'm not- We're, you know,
you have to go to Hamilton County when you purchase the property, and you would consolidate the parcels with the title company.
okay,
So
yeah.
It's part of the purchase.
mean,
It's an easy thing to do.
No problem, no problem.
I don't know if
mean,
there's pros and-
if it's, you know, right.
I don't know if there's pros or cons to leaving it or combining, but
We as.
I think we
as
want it to
a-
be
I can
combined.
tell you, as a board of zoning, we've been asked if there are multiple parcels for a single property, we've been asked to consolidate it. That makes, tax purposes, you're getting one bill versus 4 bills.
No problem.
And it makes easier from a lot line now, it's one lot line versus 4 separate lot lines.
We just didn't want to have to go through a whole process to get there, and if it's that simple, you know, and really, as you guys know, it's going through a procurement, right, you know, real estate transaction, and as soon as that is done, the title company can take care of it, and we can ask the title company to do that.
Yeah, okay. So, and I watched the Board of Trustees meeting, and one of the trustees had a concern about semi-trucks unloading vehicles in front of your facility, but that's not what happens here,
That
correct?
is not. So it's basically, they bring, the technicians rotate and pick up vehicles and take them back, and people from the dealerships bring them in. So it's not, no
Yep. You're-
semi.
yeah.
Am I right there for a sec? Yeah.
And then, obviously, so it's mainly, like you said, reconditioning of brand-new cars.
No, that sound like used cars.
And used.
Oh, and used cars?
And
Okay.
used dealership cars, you know, so
Yeah.
it's very light scratch, dent.
Yeah.
Really clean and waxing, and they do all the prep work on all the new cars. That's really what they do.
And then would the overhead doors always like be open during this process, or?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, they're gonna be applying ceramic, wax to it, and I would, yeah, they keep them closed now, you know, if conditions existed, then
Yeah.
there might be something there, but, you know, beautiful day, I don't know, you know, technicians.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, as you drive by, if the doors are open, you'll just see cars sitting in there.
Yeah.
I guess not a big deal. So the other concern, again, from what I watched on the trustee meeting, was we're calling this automotive services. And I guess there's nothing else to call it, correct?
Yeah, when something doesn't perfectly fit into the use table.
So in the future, if they were to leave, it could become a body shop?
Now, since they're requesting a use variance, we can fit it into the category of automotive services, but you can restrict this use to just particular automotive services within that broader category. So you could make this a little bit more narrow than the land use category that we're
So
calling
you're
it.
saying we can say it shall be a automobile reconditioning service?
I would still call it automotive services because that's the definition in your code, but you can restrict them to only certain services being provided.
Well, that's what I mean, call it
Yeah.
that, but then say, with the caveat that it's strictly for reconditioning of new and used vehicles.
Sure.
All right, thanks.
Okay. I have selfish questions because I live across the street.
Yeah, sure.
And I noticed a lot of the things or improvements are going to be done on the inside, with the exception now of the berm that's being addressed. Are you going to be addressing some of the outside features of the building because it has some deferred maintenance?
It definitely does. I went by it today and looked at the landscapes, totally out of control. The red doors, I would expect to be new doors put on, painted white. Something has to happen with those doors. It's not attractive. The whole perception of the business is neat and clean and organized. And I know these guys, and everything is, you know, clean and neat, and, you know.
If you want ceramic coatings, I mean, you don't want dust. I mean, it has to be clean.
Yeah, so I would expect enhancements to happen relatively quick, no guarantees, but the building operationally right now fits their exact needs. And now with the berm, there's some added expense there, but the doors have been identified as a potential fix out of the chute. You know, they're not real attractive. They're paint at minimum, but maybe replace at some point in time.
There's some broken windows there that just would like to be addressed. I'm opposed to condition 1.
Okay.
Because now you're creating a hardship on him to have to come back and do a variance for a sign.
Can I ask our legal team, is there a condition that could be made where he can move the existing sign somewhere else on the site that meets the 10-foot setback?
Yes, I think probably what I would do is suggest a broad condition that requires that existing parking, building, and signage layout remain as it is. And if any changes are made to those layouts, they have to come before the board for additional approval. But as far as the sign goes, you could cut that out and say, as long as it's the same dimensions and it meets our setback requirements, then it can be placed elsewhere on the property with, a certificate from staff.
Well, I think it needs to be brought up to current code, because the current sign is not a sign that's in our code.
It's not a monument sign upon a base.
Correct. So I think if you're gonna have a sign, it should be a monument sign if we're gonna allow it. So that would be one of the stipulations. If we allow a sign, it has to be brought to current code conditions.
Sure.
And he can give you direction on that if you agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna use the same sign, and is that
Well,
not current?
but right now, the instructions is the sign has to go, all signage has to go. And I'm objecting to that as a condition, as a board member. Now, we haven't voted on any of this, so so you know, these guys have a voice in the matter too.
Right.
But me, it's creating a hardship on you if you're not allowed any sign other than on the building.
Right.
So if you're gonna have a sign, our current code says it has to be a monument sign, so it has to be on the ground with a base. So kind of envision the sign you have there now, but now you're gonna build a base around it, and then it has a certain height restriction.
I don't think that would be in it, Franciscan. Do you understand? That will not be. The biggest thing, I think, is the 10-foot setback, and we're 15 feet on our buffer zone, so the sign, as I see it, 4 or 5 feet, we're gonna really be pushing that, but we'll figure it out. We'll bump it out.
There's definitely room, in my
Is there room
opinion.
in the
Yeah.
buffer, okay.
Okay, so then with that, if you can pull up your potential, your perspective.
Yeah.
And by the way, I would say, this is more intensive use. I can disagree that the fire trucks were more intensive than you will ever be there, because the noise and the in and outs and the lights, and believe me, there was a lot of going in and out of that building, so I don't feel that you're gonna be in more intense use. So that's my opinion as well, and I can give that as a fact because I live there.
When you made the comment, I said, I was thinking, we're gonna make a guarantee we're not putting sirens on top of our cars.
I appreciate that. So the circulation, you have no issue with that?
No, I mean.
That's kind of the way it's being used now, and so it's a great suggestion. The buffer in the front, how are you planning on getting in the bays, I guess would be my question.
And that's sort of, Francisca and I were talking about it, because this is the first time I saw the rendering, and I'm thinking 300 square feet, 15-foot setback. It probably, I don't know, the entrance is big. That buffer goes farther east, I guess, on Galbraith Road than I anticipated. I was expecting to make it at the end of the building almost, and sort of the sign in that area, but because there is a grassy area where it says 22 feet, that does have to be cut out right there so that we can get,
Well, can the sign be on the other side?
The sign can go right here.
Yeah.
The sign can go right here.
Where you got the 18 foot.
It can go right in front of this building right here.
Yeah, you sort of want to see it from the road just so somebody,
I understand.
You
You
don't
would
want
be
it
able
to
to.
be so far back.
So, we've addressed this where we think the potential sign location. So the plan is then to bring the cars in from the back to the bays and then go to the front, or are you gonna go from the front to the back?
It'll be from the back to the front, but you still need some turning radius there.
Right.
If you have a car that sits there for a day and you got somebody that comes in or say it sits in the middle of you would like to be able to access both sides, I guess is the point.
Well, you wanna be able to pull straight through.
Pull straight through is exactly the intent.
So, well, I was gonna say another option, where it says in only,
Yeah.
if that was landscaping, and you moved the in only to the west, in line with one or two of the bays, That way they could pull straight in to those bays and then leave out the back.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. That would be up to Hamilton County, and I reached out to them and did not receive a response.
What would be the problem? There's currently a driveway there now. It's a curb cut already.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to, I don't have an answer
That's a
prepared.
great
for that.
suggestion, though. I mean, so did you understand what we were saying there?
Yeah, so you put the entrance in front of the bays versus on the.
Not the whole length of the
Yeah,
bays,
so
but,
the two bays that go through, which is only the two right ones.
That's right.
You would keep the driveway there.
Yeah.
And then move the landscaping to the right, so now you kind of have to go in,
So-
you're deading in your parking lot.
Right. And
I mean, if you're a staff member, employee, you would still, and you would go in that same new spot I just mentioned, but you'd have to then turn to the right and get around the building. Where's the blue? Yeah. So you're just gonna have to zigzag a little bit or get around the building if you're an employee to park in the morning.
And this in only would become out only,
Where are you at?
right here.
That might
Would
be a
go
better-
away.
That becomes
It would go
landscaping.
Completely gone.
If we're gonna have that go away, I would suggest the out only go away because it's so close to that side street that it actually is dangerous.
And that would be a better option, actually, to get rid of the out, because, and have the in and the out on the west side of the building, because
Right.
the out, you really don't even see. I mean, and like you said, it's so close to that corner there.
So you could say that he could have 40 feet of curb cuts
Yeah.
total.
To
and
be
the rest
determined.
has to be the 15-foot landscape buffer.
I really like that idea a lot better, because it gives you so much more.
Can we give staff the discretion to review that and approve it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should let him out of the rest of the parking plan if we're gonna do that. So I'll just review that off.
It'll have to be submitted for approval.
Yeah.
And Hamilton County would have to approve it. too.
Carly, do you see any issue with that?
No, I think that makes sense.
Okay, great. That's actually a great idea, Mr. Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we solved the world's problems.
Well,
Do we have any other questions?
if and when we make a motion, I'm still confused about the sign. Are you saying there's no signage allowed on the building?
My original proposal was that it's in an MUR and it should not be allowed to have a ground sign. You can have up to 100 square feet of wall signs. That was my
You're
recommendation.
saying because it's where it's located,
Yeah.
it's not allowed to have.
And I understand there's pre-existing or legally non-conforming signs on other parcels within the MUR. But I was suggesting that, but I'm not sure if
My
it's,
argument is that we've just changed that to an MUR, so I mean, that's
I
not fair to any of the people that are in this space.
and are we illegally taking their non-conforming sign?
If we require them to remove it?
Yeah.
I mean, if they consent to the condition, then there's no issue. But yeah, technically, right now, it's legal non-conforming, so it could stay. But it's reasonable condition in connection with what they're asking for with the use variance, because it is a substantial variance they're asking for. So it's really up to the board's discretion to determine if it's warranted.
And again, me personally, again, with selfish reasons now, I'd rather see a monument sign than a big Sparky sign. Make the building look better.
Yeah. And really, the biggest thing is so somebody can see it coming down the street, you know, the dealership
And
management.
at that point, if it's on the building, you've already passed it.
Right. And
So our motion would state that we would accept a monument sign?
Can you give me a hand with this, Carly?
Yeah, can I ask, so the monument signs, and I don't know your code as well as you all do yet, but where is that coming from? If there's no signage that's allowed in this district, then what's kind of our guide point for the regulations applicable to this monument sign?
Okay, so if we're allowing a sign,
Mhm.
it now requires it to be a monument sign. No.
Per
no
our
poles-
zoning.
No, per zoning. So
Okay.
no pole signs. I mean, we do a building sign, which he's referenced, but if we are currently have a sign there that is not a monument sign, but it is basically a billboard on two posts, and we would like to improve it and make it conforming from a sign perspective, then it's got to be a monument sign.
So are our area dimensional requirements and regulations for monument signs consistent for any zoning district where they're
No.
allowed?
In a residential zoning district, monument signs are not allowed, period. So we don't allow any ground signs in residential zoning districts.
Okay, so in the zoning districts where they are allowed, are the regulations consistent?
I could pull them up. I already have them pulled up. So if you guys turn to the screen, these are the single identification monument signs. So in a commercial district, which would be anywhere on Colerain Avenue, or a neighborhood business mixed zoning district, you can have 50 square feet or 75 on a corner lot. Industrial, you get a little bit more, but in residential districts, those dashes mean that we don't allow monument signs at all.
For the other commercial properties in this corridor, are monument signs subject to the commercial district regulations pretty consistent with what they have?
We have no monument signs in that district. They're all pole signs.
Oh, okay.
We just recently changed the zoning so that it is only a monument sign. So unless something happens to these signs that are existing, they're grandfathered in. So in this particular case, we're asking to remove a sign that's gonna have to be removed anyway because he's gonna have to drive through it. And then when he puts the sign back, that it be conforming to a monument sign, even though it's zoned residential. It really is not fairly zoned residential because
Would otherwise be allowed on other commercial properties. Okay, so I'm just trying to pick out some guide points that can guide the regulations for this particular monument sign, since it's not allowed in the district and we don't have any type of dimensions or renderings from the applicant. My suggestion, if the board sees fit, is to select either the monument sign regulations applicable to commercial districts or industrial. It sounds like commercial makes the most sense, but it's obviously up to the board's discretion. If
be
you're going
specific when we say what we're gonna allow.
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna allow a monument sign.
Are we gonna allow two since it's a corner lot? Just to be clear. On a corner lot, you get two monument signs.
Yeah, because Staley went and made that a public road because it was a private road. I personally think that there's only enough room for one sign.
Can we say that?
Sure. I mean, right now, they wouldn't be allowed any signage technically. So if we're going to allow a monument sign subject to the commercial district regulations, we can definitely limit that to just one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm speaking for the owner right now, but I'll confirm it. You know, we never talked about two signs. We talked about one.
Okay,
And we
just-
talked
yeah,
about
just
the
being-
existing sign.
Mhm.
This is a little bit of a change, and I'll take it back to him, and, you know.
It's for the better. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, I think it
honestly,
is,
from
yeah.
what we previously had restriction, I think
It's
it's
gonna
better.
enhance the whole thing. I mean, you know, he just wanted to use the existing sign. He was gonna get a whole new insert for it, basically. So this is good.
And you'll be able to do insert, it just being on basis. So did you have some of those you show him that, you know,
Yeah, I
what,
can
you know
show
what a
you some
monument sign is,
examples.
right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay. That's good.
All right. Are we done talking about this?
So we're still saying number one condition is,
Number one condition
is a condition.
is not a condition because it's being changed to allow him to have a monument sign on the property.
But we still were conditioning to say that all signs shall be removed.
Yeah, but replaced with a single.
So it's still a condition.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to modify it so that it's replaced.
And then all
with a
future
single monument
signage
sign.
shall comply with the requirements of Colerain Township zoning resolution for monument signs in a commercial district.
But in this case, we're allowing him to have it as long as it applies to.
For monument
Carly, are you able to help with the wording on that?
signs in a
Oh, your phone, your.
Sorry about that. Dropped it just a little chicken scratch. I would say all existing signage and sign structures shall be removed. The applicant shall be allowed one monument sign consistent with monument sign regulations applicable in commercial zoning districts.
Perfect.
Okay, did you catch that?
Uh,
So,
That's
It's on the record.
Without ChatGPT.
it is on record, so, but we have, in order for it to be real, we have to repeat it, so when you make your motion, you just.
No, she's making the motion.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were writing it down. Okay, so, do we have a motion?
Are we done discussing?
Yeah, we can do it after the motion.
So it sounds like the condition 5, the master parking plan should stay because of the whole curb cut and ins and outs.
With asking him to construct a new monument sign and a streetscape buffer, would add significant costs. I would just recommend if I were on the board, in the spirit of compromise, explicitly saying they don't have to do a master parking plan. If you require them to do a master parking plan, they'll have to do interior landscape islands, cost tens of thousands of dollars in additional costs. So if you want them to do it, you're the board, but it's just my
I
recommendation.
think that what I recommend is that you approve the parking plan based upon.
Well, there still needs
what
to
they
be
submit to you.
some sort of
I'll
approved.
review and approve an updated plan that addresses the streetscape buffer when they apply for their change in use. Okay?
Is that all right? That sound agreeable to you? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So,
No master parking plan.
so staff recommendation, we're modifying number 1.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that we needed to address? We're removing number 5?
Well, number 2 says the existing curb cut shall be permanently closed. That may or may not be true anymore.
I would put they're allowed up to 40 feet of
Yeah.
curb cuts along West Galbraith. Anything in addition to 40 feet shall be permanently closed. Does that sound good, Carly?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Sorry, we're all making notes because we have to. Okay, does anybody want to make a?
So if I make one, we have the opportunity to tweak it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll just have to repeat it.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the use variance, specifically a use that reconditions and/or preps new and used vehicles only, with the following conditions: that the existing signage be removed and the applicant be allowed to construct one monument sign that meets the zoning regulations of a commercial district, and that the existing curb cuts be removed permanently except for a maximum of 40 feet along West Galbraith Road, and that conditions 3 and 4 be accepted, 5 not be accepted, and 6 and 7 be accepted.
All right, so I'm going to repeat it. So we are going to specify a specific use on the car, that it was specifically for reconditioned prepping of new and used vehicles, with the following condition: that they will remove all the signs in the current property. We will allow them one sign that is a commercial sign, based size sign, as long as it meets Colerain Township zoning's ordinance, removing all the current curb cuts except 40 feet along West Galbraith Road. All parcels will be combined to record. The 15-foot wide street buffer shall be installed along Galbraith Road frontage. It include at least 8 ornamental trees, minimum 300 feet of landscape area, with the remaining 3 of pavement, parking, or storage. We are going to say all dumpsters shall be enclosed with solid screening in compliance with zoning requirements, and there will be no outdoor storage of junk debris or inoperable vehicles on the property. Did I capture
Correct.
that?
Yes.
Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Mr. Saida beat you, so second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartelt?
Yes.
Miss Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Shutt?
Yes.
Mr. Sydow?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Get with him. He's going to tell you direct on how you're going to proceed.
I'll send you an email and I'll kind of lay all this out tomorrow. Okay?
No problem at all.
Okay.
Good luck to you on closing.
Yep.
I have seen no unfinished business.
Correct.
Approval of minutes from June 25th. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartelt?
Yes.
Miss Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Shutt?
Yes.
Mr. Sydow?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Our next meeting is August 22nd or 27th. Do we have cases?
We do.
Okay. Any administrative matters?
None.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartle?
Yes.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Shup?
Yes.
Mr. Sydow?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.